Oh man, this is it. Looks like we're going. And what's up, everybody over on the YouTube? Let me just make sure we're live. You guys know me. I have to see it because if I don't see it, I don't know if it's real or not. I don't know if it's legit or if it's just a conspiracy. We're live on the YouTube. What's up, YouTube? How are you? I hope you are well. Good to see everybody. Let's see. Oh, okay. So I guess Queen Elizabeth just passed. Yeah, I'm not really privy to too much there. So unfortunately, condolences or whatever. That's really all I got. But I think we're live on the Rockfin. I think we are live on the Rockfin. Let me make sure. Rockfin, what are you doing? Rockfin's being a little goofy. Rockfin's okay. All right, we got it. We got it all. What's up, everybody? Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. To everyone listening to the podcast later, hope your errands are going well. Leave us a 5-star review, would you? And for everyone checking out the stream now, smash the like button. And also for people currently on the stream who get this live when it comes out, whether you are on the YouTubes, whether you are on the Twitters, or whether you are on the Rockfin, I will make this announcement now. This is going to be the last Thursday show for the foreseeable future. We're likely going to switch to Wednesdays. I'll be announcing that formally. I know for people who get the podcast later, it doesn't matter all that much because it'll just, download for you. But for everyone who catches the stream live, keep an eye on my Twitter. I'll be making a formal decision very soon. But this is going to be our last Thursday show for a while. Thursday is going to be my day over at Status Coup. I'll be co-hosting Status Coup later today with Tina Desiree Berg. And that's just too much streaming in one day, folks. So this is going to be the last day doing Thursdays. But let's get right to it. We got a very exciting headline show for you today. Amazon. We got another follow-up on the Amazon story that we've been covering where they have their most dangerous merger. And it's on the heels of some very disturbing labor happenings that have been happening. The Seattle teachers are on strike. And we got a couple more things for you. And helping me through the headlines, she might go into labor at any second. For all we know, her water might break on this stream. Please welcome to the show, Lauren Ashcraft. Lauren, what's up?
I hope not.
I hope not too. But you never know.
Oh my gosh. We had like a scare yesterday and I called my doctor at like 11:30 p.m. and they're like, "No, you're good. You're good." So, I'm still here. Nothing happened.
You tweeted a joke about that was really funny where you said something like they're so chill about
Oh.
Didn't you
Thank
tweet a joke
you.
about that? I forget the joke, so I don't want to like butcher it, but it was really funny.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was in my set on your tour.
Okay.
Good.
Nice.
You got a good memory there. But yeah, it's obstetricians, which are the doctors that monitor pregnancy. They're there during delivery. They're so chill, or
Yeah.
I guess like stereotypically they are because they've seen everything, and all of their patients are like super high stress level. Like this is my first kid, and I am like worried and anxious, and they're like, "Yep, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good." So it's still all good, and
I feel like it's good
no
that they're
baby.
yeah. I think it's good that they're that way for the reason like because they have seen everything that's part of it. But I think it's also just it's sort of important to be that way.
Yeah.
Because I'd imagine, I mean, especially, and I'm judging this based off stuff I've seen on TV, so it's not real life experience, but it's like whenever you're getting an ultrasound, if the person's like, "Oh," you're gonna be like, "What?" Like,
Yes, it definitely must be in their training to be like, you need to be calmer than them because they are worried.
Yeah.
Or like, when you're in delivery and they're like, "Oh my God." That would be terrible because I think people in general, and maybe not until recently have women really started talking about it, but the whole experience is super traumatic. Like I haven't even experienced like the delivery part, but you don't know what's going to happen when you go in. Like you could end up having major surgery if something doesn't go like perfectly right. Or you have the normal delivery, which is still super traumatic. So
oh yeah, I mean, you're probably gonna poop yourself in front of all your loved ones. I mean, that's probably gonna happen, and you just but it's part of life. It's a
Yes.
thing.
Yeah, for better or for worse. My husband, he's gonna have to forgive me. So
Yeah, there's not a lot of pressure on him. I think all the pressure is pretty much on you.
yep, yep.
That's well, I mean, this is are you sleeping okay?
No. Oh my
Okay, I
gosh.
can't imagine how you because you can't
It's terrible.
really move, can you? Like when you sleep,
Oh. You can only sleep on your side,
you
which
can't even sleep on
I
your back.
no, because apparently it's like so like my belly right now is like 25 pounds, and apparently like running down your spine, like facing forward, is a vein that delivers like all the oxygen and nutrients to the baby and the rest of your body. So I could faint and also cut off the blood supply to my child if I sleep on
Jesus.
my back.
Oh my God.
You just don't know these things. Like
No, I didn't know that.
I
Dude,
didn't know.
I've never slept on my side ever.
It's
I'm
terrible.
either a
It's the
back guy or
worst.
a stomach guy.
Same.
I don't know
I'm a
what
back I'm back, and
your back.
that's that's what like people are like, "Oh, get your sleep now." And I'm like, "I have some choice words for you cuz I am going to
Wow.
sleep like a freaking baby with my baby next to me like in a bassinet once I can sleep on my back." And
Oh my God. That's wow. Yeah, I had no idea. If someone was, yeah, you got to sleep on your side or else it could be freaking traumatic. I'd be like, what? That's a thing? I mean, I'd assume you can't sleep on your stomach. Yeah, that tracks. But
yeah.
I figured back was like the way to go.
I wish. And also when you're sleeping on your side, like it does feel like a bowling ball's hanging from your abdomen, but it's also kicking you.
Oh my
So
God.
it's like, yeah, like every time someone's like, make sure you sleep now because you're going to have a crying baby, I'm like, I'll get you. I will get you. I'm going to write your name
Wow.
down and come find you.
Well, hey, kudos to you for keeping the planet going. I mean, it's a heroic thing. I mean, moms, wow. So,
Thank
and it's
you.
awesome that you are willing to come on this show and you're still like keeping busy and
Oh
stuff.
my gosh. Yes, no baby yet. So I'm not gracing you with the sounds of screams. Um, so, but anyway, speaking of like replenishing the world, I have been just for everyone listening. I know that we're really into like saving the world here, and I planted grocery store tomato seeds. I was like, these are damn good tomatoes, and I have like 5 full tomato plants sitting in my windows, and also an
Wow.
avocado seed that grew into a tree. So I'm now just figuring out that you can plant the seeds of things that you like, and
Yeah.
then you don't have to spend money on them anymore.
You're gonna have to give me some urban gardening tips because my tomato plant didn't make it.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Rest,
It got I think it was the sun. It just like because like
may
we're
she
going through,
rest
but
in
you guys
peace.
have a heat wave too. So I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
you did better than me. Did you have a shade cloth or something? What did you do?
They're I don't know, they're indoors. So maybe
Oh,
just greenhouse it indoor.
yeah, I don't
We
know. I
don't
mean,
have a yard.
well, I don't either. I have one out in front of my place, like in like
Mm.
kind of a courtyard. That's where my zucchini plant is. Now that plant is surviving. Uh, and
Nice.
then my tomato, I have two tomatoes. I have one of those little like compact growing things, like one of those grow bag things. I don't know if you've ever seen those. I have one of
Yeah.
those. And then I have just a regular tomato plant that was given to me by my gardening neighbor who does this for a job. Like he does urban gardening for a living. And he gave me this one tomato plant and he's like, you won't fuck this up. This is pretty. I killed it. Like it died. Well, I didn't kill it. I mean, not intentionally. It was an unintentional.
You
I tried to
murdered
save
it,
it. I
Ron.
tried to save it. And it just died.
Yeah.
I was so depressed. I texted my wife and I was just like, well, if it ever goes to shit, we're screwed. Because we won't be able to have any food ever. The tomato plant
Oh.
is not with us anymore.
You can screw up anything. I've been handed like succulents. They're like, you don't even have to water this. Dead. Like ivy plants. They're like, you just ignore it. It'll be fine. Like water it every so often when it seems dry. Dead. I have a terrible black thumb, but for some odd reason, these tomatoes are thriving. So, whatever works, man.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. I'm still fingers crossed for my zucchinis and fingers crossed for your tomatoes.
Thank
We
you.
can
Thank you.
we can combine our forces coast to coast and make ratatouille together. It'll be
Yeah.
amazing.
Yay.
So check it out. The Seattle teachers, they are on strike. This has not been getting a ton of love throughout the news sphere as far as I've seen. But Seattle schools are closed for the second day in a row amid teacher strikes. The largest school district in Washington state did not welcome students back for the second day in a row after its educators unions went on strike. Wednesday would have been the first day for Seattle Public Schools, which serves more than 50,000 students. Picketeers have been lining up at schools across the district after the Seattle Education Association overwhelmingly voted to authorize a strike on Tuesday. Of the 75% of members who voted, 95% voted in favor of a strike. The union had previously rejected a proposal from the school district to start the school year on time without a contract. So they're not even like, now they're saying, give us a freaking contract. And they want more special education teachers and better resources for the kids. And they're
Yeah.
not even giving. It's just amazing when you look at what these people are asking for. And by people, I mean like all striking workers, whether it be teachers or whatever else. They're asking for things, that they shouldn't have to ask for.
Yeah.
And they're just asking for the bare minimum. Give us a contract. It'd be great if we didn't have to buy our own freaking supplies for our classroom.
That would be nice. That would be nice. And also, I don't know, these people, teachers, they have like our children's future in their hands. So I don't know. Thank you. Let's help them. I don't know. Like they're educating the people that are going to be taking care of us when we're in nursing homes. So
You can tell so much about a society by the way they treat their teachers.
yes.
So what
Yeah.
is that saying about the United States?
Yeah, sometimes, okay, I hate conspiracy theories, but sometimes, like, given our declining, like, average age and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, our government maybe prefers us dead younger because I don't know, they're not doing much to try to help us like stay alive. And I don't know, I just feel like they're not doing much to like educate kids. They're actually kind of doing the opposite in certain states, banning books and slashing education budgets and things like that, and making sure that teachers don't have the resources they need to do their jobs. So, yeah.
Well, I think what it comes down to, and I don't think this is a conspiracy. I think it's just the sad, not sugar-coated truth that this is a society, the contemporary American society. We are an empire. So we just thrive on exploiting people. Like we don't
Mhm.
like they don't want you to like want to better yourself. They don't want you to be intellectually curious. They want you to either be helping their machine in some way in the military. And if you're not going to do those things, you're an undesirable. Like that's
Yeah.
they want you in one of those two categories. They want to be able to exploit you for the corporatocracy. They want you in the military fighting their pointless wars. Or yeah, you might as well be dead. That's what they want. Unless you're like one of the rich people. That's what they want.
Yeah.
So, it's really freaking criminal. I have a friend who's a teacher here in California. She was super stressed out and still is because school was about to start and she didn't know what she was teaching because they didn't know. They didn't know what to tell her. They just didn't like because they just don't have their act together. Like they're so, there's a shortage right now and they're just underfunded and they're undermanaged. And she's an elementary school teacher, which means there's a wide range of things she could teach.
Mhm.
And they just didn't like it was getting close to first day. She didn't know what she was going to be teaching. That'd be like the equivalent of getting cast in a movie. Be like, so what am I playing? We don't know yet. Just memorize the entire script because you could be playing anything, really.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. You're just gonna just memorize the entire script and everybody's lines, and then we'll let you know maybe at some point in the middle of shooting who you're supposed to be playing. Like,
Yeah.
well, that sounds like a recipe for success.
Excellent plan. Excellent plan.
So, wow, I hope they get everything they're entitled to and then some, because this is just ridiculous. This is
For sure.
so freaking sad.
Yes. And in general, unless you're the police, I am just 100 billion% behind your unionizing and your strikes. So, yeah.
That's always, I think that's the reason the police union exists. It's so that all pro union people have to have an asterisk.
Yeah.
It's like they're just like,
Exactly.
yeah, I'm pro union. Well, there's no, except for them.
Yep.
Except for them.
Everyone
Everyone
else.
else. Yeah, exactly. So let's move on to Amazon. Speaking of great companies, so we covered last week on the show. We covered Amazon's most dangerous merger yet, and I'll recap it really quick here. Amazon merged with two companies. They merged with One Medical and they merged with iRobot. iRobot is scary, but the less scary of the two. So iRobot, they make the cameras for Roombas. So basically, if you have a Roomba, which I don't, that's a fancy pants thing. I'm old fashioned. I use a broom and a dustpan like a peasant. But if you have a Roomba now, they're filming everything in your freaking house, so you can get.
Oh,
I mean, hey, the place your iPhone's already listening to you to advertise shit to you. Well, now they have cameras; they can just know exactly what's in your house to tell
oh
you what you
gosh.
should be buying from Amazon. That's not creepy at all. One
I hate
Medical
it.
scares me a little bit more. So One Medical is a company that does it's a health insurance company, and they specialize in telehealth and stuff like that. Their membership started about $199 a year. Here's why that is super scary to me. That, first of all, like the fact that Jeff Bezos is now getting involved with our predatory healthcare system, that's just scary enough on its own.
Yeah. Yeah.
But here's the thing. Think about what Amazon did. Amazon, Jeff Bezos, with I think I just said Jeff Zuckerberg a little bit, which I'm mixing with like plutocrat. Jeff Zuckerberg's the CNN guy. Jeff Bezos is the penis rocket guy that does the Amazon thing. But Jeff Bezos, he operated Amazon for however many years at a loss because he had his money from his parents' friends. And he kept doing that until he basically monopolized online commerce, which brings us to current day. He's going to try to do the same thing in health insurance. He's going to operate at a loss, and he can do it as long as he wants. He has unlimited money. So he'll operate as a loss until he fucking corners health insurance. So the guy who would rather have employees pass out from heat exhaustion and pull them away in an ambulance than have proper ventilation in his warehouses, that guy is eventually going to monopolize health insurance, which is even scarier than the system we have currently, which I didn't even know was possible.
Wow. Yeah, that's terrifying. I think he already has cornered so many, like the Washington Post, for example. Media, healthcare, our entire shopping industry and e-commerce, rocket ships. I don't know, like what?
Well, don't forget food. Don't forget Whole Foods.
Oh yeah. Okay, I don't know what we're missing. It can't be much though. I guess teachers.
Yeah, right.
He hasn't taken over schools yet.
Oh man, that's coming.
I don't want to give him ideas.
Well, you know what? There is sort of like a little bit of a parallel though, because he's trying to gut libraries.
Wow.
And like that's another thing. We covered that on this show a while ago. Like he's trying to like gut libraries and instead move it to like this Amazon rental system, which is like so psychotic beyond comprehension. Wow. But here's a follow-up on what we covered last week. So all of this that I just described is on the heels of this. This happened last month. 3 New Jersey Amazon warehouses, 3 weeks, 3 worker deaths. Now the OSHA is investigating. So 3 people died in the warehouses, and now the Department of Labor in the United States is actually investigating this thing. That's how freaking bad it's gotten. The U.S. Department of Labor is getting involved, which is a pretty toothless agency.
He'll just take over the Department of Labor then.
Yeah, he'll buy him off. He'll buy him off. And so this happened a week ago. There has not been a follow-up yet. But a bunch of union organizations have gotten together to urge Congress to force the Amazon CEO, who isn't Jeff Bezos, the CEO is actually someone else, but Amazon worker groups urge Congress to summon CEO for hearing on warehouse safety crisis, which safety crisis is in quotes, deservedly so, because it's more than a safety crisis. People are dying because of the conditions of the warehouse. A safety crisis means, like, that kind of alludes that something tragic happened and it was sort of out of everybody's hands. No, this is a choice. This is a choice they're making to have shitty facilities. So it's literally costing people their lives. More than 30 groups, including Amazon worker coalitions, labor organizations, and community groups, sent a letter to members of Congress on Thursday urging them to convene a hearing on warehouse safety and summon Amazon CEO Andy Jassy and other company executives to testify. The letter, which was shared exclusively by Forbes, comes as Amazon faces heightened scrutiny, over the protocols and policy at its warehouse and other fulfillment facilities. In New Jersey, 3 workers died in 3 weeks in July. So, do
Wow.
you think anything's going to come of this, first of all?
No. I wish though. I'm just being honest. It's just like I hope so. That's my
Sure.
answer. I really would like it to. Because those 3 people did not deserve to die just for trying to provide for themselves and their family, probably for much less money than they deserve to be making in the first place.
Yeah. Well, and this guy is going to try to monopolize healthcare. It's just so.
Yeah, it's already we already have like terribly capitalist monopolized healthcare. And just Amazon coming and buying all of that up, and we're just gonna every aspect of our life will be Amazon. It feels a little bit like a Black Mirror episode, but it's
Oh my
real.
god. It's like every dystopian thing come to life. I mean, it's Wall-E, it's Brave New World, it's a Black Mirror episode. I mean, it's all of it just in
Yep.
our face. Like this was supposed to be a warning, but the
Yep.
powerful saw this as a
I hope I
blueprint.
really it's what's frustrating though, and but frustrating but good is if Congress wanted to do something about this, they absolutely could. So like quickly. So I don't know what to say. I mean, that's also sad because so many things in our society could be fixed like by tomorrow, that feel really ominous and hopeless. But if we keep putting pressure on electeds and getting the right people into office, like maybe it hurts to say that though, because I ran for office and um, I'm now like I'm a little jaded. So
I still
yup,
feel like I only know, and like you and I have had plenty of conversations off mic and stuff like that. And I still feel like I probably only know a fraction of what it's really like. I mean, first of all, there's some things that I can only imagine having never gone through it, but also like I feel like even with your experience, I feel like maybe I've seen or heard about really like a tip of the iceberg.
yeah, yeah. We should do that podcast, by the way, sometime.
No, I'm all about it. Like yeah, like we'll do like just a really deep dive into like
Yeah,
what it was like because I have had other people not you, just to be transparent in case anyone was curious because I'm not going to say the name of the person, but I've had like somebody just look me in the eye and just be like it was the worst experience of my life. And
running
they're
for
being
office.
serious. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I could tell like they were 100% serious.
yeah,
And they just said they're like, it is the worst thing ever. It is just terrible, and I've seen it
yeah,
just destroy people, and
yeah.
I can see you can see why, but it's one thing to be able to like observe it and be like, yeah, I get, but it's another thing to like go through it
Mm,
and feel it.
yeah. I think it's like one of the things that you don't really account for in planning your run is like we had a whole team ready. We were like ready to fundraise. like had some interesting potential endorsements on the horizon, but you don't really reconcile with like how much people are gonna go after like your family, for example. Like people would probably because they knew it was like painful to read stuff, but people would like go after like my dead grandma, like, and I was like, why?
What did they say
Yeah.
about your dead grandma?
Yeah. So, like part of my story is that I am like part Japanese because my grandma's from Japan. And they're like, yeah, but she was a Japanese person that married an American military person. So like that doesn't count. And she was just like some,
They're
I don't know.
criticizing who your grandma married?
I know. And I was like, I'm happy to exist.
So
Like,
this, I mean, I'm gonna guess that this was likely like World War II era, right?
yeah, it was the Korean War, I
Okay.
guess.
Okay.
I guess we sent Americans over to Japan to be close by.
Mhm.
Yeah, but yeah, it's she was a typist on the American Air Force Base to feed her family, and she met my grandpa who was open to date, I guess, and then they moved back here. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really matter because they were just like sad people on the internet, but
Yeah,
they,
very sad. Like, wow, is that?
yeah,
I mean, you could. I mean, the reason I mean, the reason that's so fascinating is because I feel like you could say that about most grandparents of that era. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like my grandfather was drafted to serve in World War II.
Hmm.
Both of my grandfathers were. Most people were that were here in the United States. So you
Hmm.
could say that about like anyone who made it home and they married a military. But yeah, people were drafted into this world war.
Yeah,
Like it's like
totally.
that's such a
Yeah.
bizarre thing.
Yeah, and I think it was like a little sad for me to see we attack like humans, but not like industrial complexes. Because as a society, for example, like they're like, oh, like, you're one quarter Japanese, like one quarter evil military person or whatever. And I'm like,
What?
yeah, not a fan of war, okay, but also why are you not like my platform is attacking how much funding we're throwing at the military for future wars. Like, get on board with me here.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's just yeah, or
that's
like
such a bizarre
yeah, or
like that is such a freaking stretch.
it
Like
it was a
that
stretch.
is like you're making Gumby look like nothing level stretch. Like that is
Yeah.
but
And
but
it
that's
just it doesn't that was just a small one, but it's just like constant like attacks on like my family who have nothing to do with anything, or like I got a lot of I got a lot of shit for like working for a bank in my past, which yeah, banks suck. And frankly, like I was like a little bit afraid to even say that because I have no idea like what documents I signed when I quit. But yeah, like people have to work to pay their rent, but my platform was calling for getting rid of like the bank's money going right to politicians. You know what I mean? And it's like,
yeah.
let's help like real people with like jobs that they wish they didn't have to do get into office so that we can change things instead of attacking. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, the problem is not the person who lives in whereversville, USA that's a bank teller at Wells Fargo cuz that's the job that they need to support themselves.
yeah,
Like they're not the problem. Like it's
yeah,
that's not it's amazing to me that there's some people they don't understand the difference between those two. Like they think that when you say the big banks, they literally think you're referring to the person who probably gets paid, like some hourly rate to just be a bank teller.
yeah,
Like they're part of it's like no, it's not their fault. Like this is the system. They're just trying to survive like everyone
yeah,
else.
yeah.
They're not the reason banks are investing in big oil. They don't have a say in that, just like you don't. Just like if
Yeah.
you have a checking account somewhere because you have to, it's like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And
I
yeah,
mean,
like,
store your money in your mattress if you want, but like
well,
some
yeah.
people also have bank accounts.
Right. And like I mean, I live in an area, I'm lucky. I'm able to do all my banking with a credit union that's meant for people in the entertainment industry.
Oh,
But I
cool.
but I
That's
realize
awesome.
that's like I'm lucky to be able to do that. Somebody who lives in like some small area, they might not be able to do that. So they might have an account with Wells Fargo or whoever else. And it's just like, dude, that's not,
Capitalist.
yeah, right. Like that's so ridiculous. It's like that's not uh, anyway, yeah, that drives me
Yeah.
nuts. That drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Or like you talk about the problems of big tech, and they literally think you're referring to like the person who's a computer programmer because they picked the right major in college.
Right.
So they make a reasonable living. And it's like, no, that person's not the problem. The
Yeah.
problem is the system. Like if we had a different system, they'd be able to use their powers for something much better. Like
Mhm.
it's
It
so
is frustrating.
speaking of big tech
We'll
though.
talk about it all on our podcast.
Yes. No, we'll be doing a tell-all on all this. But speaking of big tech, you mentioned how we can do something about Amazon, and it just so happens, I know this might come as a shock coming from me, but there's some antitrust policy in the country right now that we've been promised to vote on in the fall. You guys know what I'm gonna say next. If you haven't yet, please, for all that is holy, go to antitrustsummer.com, sign the petition. We are revamping. Chuck Schumer promised to vote this fall. I know he promised to vote in the summer. Now he's promising to vote in the fall. We
It's
got to keep the
almost
pressure on.
fall.
It is. I mean, yeah. As
Chuck.
far as I'm concerned, it is, Chuck. Here's the thing: they're trying to sabotage this. So here's what happened recently. Here's an update on the campaign that I've been part of the entire summer. Big Tech's $95 million spending spree leaves antitrust bill on brink of defeat. Not good news. High profile push by Congress to rein in the nation's bigger internet company is at risk of failing. So they're setting us up for failure here. Now, it's interesting all the quotes that they have here. If supporters of this bill had enough votes, it wouldn't be a bill, it would be a law, said Matt Schumer is president of the Computer and Communications Industry Association, which represents the major tech companies. So even though two Reuters reports said that the votes are there, Amy Klobuchar says that the votes are there, Chuck Grassley says that the votes are there, a Democrat and a Republican, just for the record, this guy who works for an industry that wants this bill to fail, he's telling you the votes aren't there. He's saying, oh, the votes aren't there. That's the problem. All these people who really don't want this bill to pass, they're just worried. They're just worried that that the votes aren't there.
They put okay, I will say though, then put it out there and let it fail.
Yeah. No kidding. No kidding. And Klobuchar goes on to say, once this bill comes to the floor for a vote, we are confident it will pass, Klobuchar told Bloomberg News. So in fairness to Bloomberg, they are quoting everybody here. So I'll give them that. They're not just quoting the tech industry. But man, don't let them. Oh, and by the way, here's another one. The senior vice president of government affairs at the Consumer Technology Association, a trade group that counts Amazon, Google, and Facebook among its members. This person, Michael Petricone, says, I don't see it going to the floor. So the people who want to see this fail are setting you up to cope for a failure. The people who really want to see it fail. Right, exactly. Well, it's the whole like, well, we're going to get both sides. So the side of the people trying to pass this bill and the side of the people who really want to see this bill fail, but we're going to like dress up who they are. Let's get their quotes. Oh, I just don't see it happening. You'll never say, I don't want it to happen because my job depends on it not happening. But it's great. So
Chuck.
Don't let them win. Don't let them win. Go to antitrustsummer.com. We have to scream loud enough that the people in power have to realize, okay, a midterm's coming up and the people demand antitrust legislation. Because these lobbyists, these big tech lobbyists who have spent $95 million, they want the politicians to believe the public doesn't care enough about this. They don't care that much. It's not a big deal. Because then it's easier for the politicians to be like, well, if they don't care that much, who gives a shit? We'll just do what our tech lobbyists want us to do. But if it's obvious that, oh, the people really care and we might lose our jobs if we don't do this, we don't want to do this because it'll piss off our tech lobbyists, but we don't have a choice. We're going to get antitrust law, folks. That's just how it works. You have to be so loud that they can't ignore you. Because even though they're corrupt to the gill, they don't want to lose their freaking jobs.
Antitrustsummer.com. Also, I have an idea is that we pass this bill and then all of those companies throwing money at politicians instead just give me that money.
I'm for that idea.
Thank you. I'll give
I
you some.
thank you. I appreciate that. And then we can use it to fund all the wonderful things that we have a brewing.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? That's going to be the priority with that money.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun stuff ahead, people. Fun stuff.
So, Lauren, what all do you have coming up? What all do you want to plug? And what all do you want to leave folks with? I'd imagine you kind of have a lot on your mind right now, but plug away.
I'm gonna plug. I'm gonna plug a baby.
So exciting.
I don't know. I really love TikTok. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm Lauren Comedy on there. I would love to collaborate with you sometime on there, Ron. So we'll have to do that.
You would really need to walk me through it like I'm a child, because
That's cool.
which will be good practice for your parenting. I
That's
do
good.
not. I tried to do a Stitch thing. You know that I tried.
Yes.
I have no idea what I'm doing, and I asked, and my wife, she loves watching TikTok, but she doesn't actually use it. So I was like,
Yeah.
"Do you know how?" And she's like, "No, dude." And I'm like, all right." And so I'm getting slightly better, but I really have no idea what I'm doing. I'm
I
really bad at it, and I don't understand TikTok. I'll have some random thing that I'll just post on TikTok, and it'll get a couple thousand views. Okay, that's cool. I'll post something else that I'm actually really proud of. I'm like, oh, this is a really funny video. It gets like 40 views or something, and I have
yeah.
no idea. Like, I don't understand how followers, because I don't have many followers, because I don't understand like how to engage with people I follow. Like, I don't. It's embarrassing, but
Yeah. No,
but if
not
you want to walk
embarrassing.
me through
It's
it,
weird. I will totally walk you through it. And I will say one of the things about TikTok is like you'll be scrolling through and like my content that I scroll through, not create, is like mostly cat stuff, comedians, sketch comedy, that kind of stuff. And
those
then
are all my favorite
occasionally,
things.
yeah, love it. I wish I could just give you my algorithm whenever I've curated for myself. But and then every once in a while they'll like throw in something like super sad, like somebody dying of cancer. And I was like, why did this come to me? I was like looking at this in my lunch break and now I'm sad. Not to like, you know, I feel for these people.
Right,
It's
right,
just
right.
I
You're
feel
just
like you
kind
should
of like, this isn't.
consensually,
Yeah,
yeah, like not be surprised with cancer and death material. So there is a way that you can put in keywords that you just don't want to deal with if you have triggers that like trigger anxiety, depression, stuff like that. So definitely do that, people. If you're on TikTok, like put in words that you would find really upsetting and then content that like mentions that or somebody even says it out loud since they have like the captioning technology. Um, it's wiped from your algorithm. So I really recommend that version of
perfect.
TikTok. Now I'm just cats. It's
No,
amazing.
that's awesome. It's funny when the pandemic. Well, we're still in the pandemic, but when lockdown first started in 2020, one of the things I did as we were all kind of the internet was our only window to the outside world. I joined like a bunch of cat groups on Facebook and stuff like
Yes.
that, because I was like, the world is in a bad place, but I love my cat, and that's really awesome, and so I'm going to join these cat groups. We're all really bonding with our pets. That's one lemonade out of lemon situation of all this. We're home all the time, but blah blah blah. And so I joined all these cat groups thinking it would be like a break.
Yeah.
And then you see all these posts where they're just like, here's the statistics of people that abandon their animals. Here's
Yes.
here's the stigma that black cats still face in 2022. Did
Yeah.
you know that you're probably going to outlive your pet? Friendly reminder, you are. It's like,
Yeah.
Jesus, this is What's wrong with you people?
Oh my gosh, I just wanted to see like cats bat a ball around
Yeah, right.
Paul. Like, yes, that's why I feel like super depressing stuff. Like, it shouldn't surprise you. And I know like even just watching the news is super traumatic sometimes. But yeah, like
Sometimes.
anywhere where I can curate my content and put in like safety rails for myself, I'm just doing that these days, people. And I really recommend it. It's amazing.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm not one of these people. Like, I don't shy away from what's going on in the world by any means. I mean, I do, like I do look into it. I do, like, I am trying to be a civically engaged, mindful guy. But sometimes you just want to shut it off for a little bit and watch a freaking cat video,
Yes, I
and
don't go on
that's
TikTok for
healthy.
like, yeah,
That's important. You're not going on TikTok for your news. You're going on TikTok for a break. And
yes,
by the way, there's studies that show if you want to be a civically engaged person, you will be more so if you step back regularly
yeah, I do
instead of
that.
just because otherwise you go down a rabbit hole and you overconsume. So, anyway,
Yeah,
well,
then you're gonna be out like protesting, like waiting for the second coming of JFK Jr. or whatever. Like, I don't know. There's lots of rabbit holes.
sure, totally. Well, Lauren, uh, I'm sure I'll be talking to you beforehand, maybe not publicly, but best of luck with the with when the baby making process goes into full swing. The
Thank
full
you.
the when you go into production. I talk it
Thank
like
you.
it's making a movie. Like Lawrence baby making is about to go into production. It got 9 months ago. It was greenlit, and
Yep, yep. Here we go. Yeah, I'm thank you so much and definitely send good vibes, good juju and hopefully she'll make an appearance on a future Get Your News On with Ron.
absolutely, I can't wait for that. And yeah, all the best to you and the fam. And yeah, I'll be talking to you.
Talk to you soon. Thanks for having me.
Peace. Lauren Ashcraft, everybody. Follow her on TikTok at Lauren Comedy, and of course on Twitter at Vote Ashcraft. And her and I have a lot of exciting things in the I don't want to like on the horizon. I've tried to avoid using the phrase "in the pipeline" because I just anything resembling a pipeline is bad. I don't want any, you know what I mean? Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. Couple quick announcements. If you want to support this show on the sustainability end, patreon.com/Ron Placone. For Give What You Can level, you get all kinds of exclusive content, including my short film Loner. It has not been released to the public yet. There's going to be some public screenings in 2023, but in the meantime, you can watch it now if you're a patron for a Give What You Can level. Even $1 a month goes a long way. And you'll be able to see my performance from Saturday. On Saturday, I am launching a new show where I perform as Lucian the Satirist. If you are in the Los Angeles area, that show is on September 10th at 2 p.m. Pacific time at the Corner Store in San Pedro, the neighborhood I live in. It is totally free, so you don't need to buy a ticket. It is a free event. RonFlacone.com for more info. And if you're a Patreon, you get to see the video. I'm going to be posting the video on my Patreon for everyone to watch after. And if you're not a patron, well, you'll have to catch it at a Renaissance Fair at some point in 2023. That's what I'm probably going to do. I plan to take it to Renaissance Fairs next year. Don't forget to follow Lauren, and she's got some exciting stuff in the personal world. And best of luck to them with the baby making. Yeah, I feel like that's a fun way to put it. The baby making in production. It's going to production. I like that. I guess labor is what most people going into labor is what normal people call it, but I call it going into production. Guys, thank you so much for being here. We will not be doing Thursday shows anymore. We are going to switch the day probably to Wednesday. Once I firm that up 100%, I'll be letting you all know. But Thursdays, I co-host Status Quo. I'll be co-hosting Status Quo in a couple hours. Hope to see you all there. And but yeah, so Get Your News On with Ron is going to switch. And there are some exciting things in the pipeline. RonPlacone.com for information on September 10th. 2023 tour dates will be announced soon. Patreon.com/RonPlacone. A Give What You Can level. How could you say no? Folks, love you all very much. AntitrustSummer.com. We will see you next week. And in the meantime, you know the drill. Lucy, she says meow. And I say peace, love, and a general strike.